Hi, welcome to another vlog. So today is 20th, so I haven't been very good with filming this vlog. However, I do have to say I haven't actually read a lot. So I have been trying to get through the audiobook of Malice by Heather Walters, and I don't know, I'm not enjoying it. It's not bad. It has a lot of things in it, morally grey characters and interesting world, so in theory I should be enjoying it. So I think one reason might be that I am audiobooking it and I would maybe enjoy it more whilst reading it physically, or maybe it's just that there isn't much happening. It's a lot of her going through the motions and I'm not finding it interesting. So this is a Sleeping Beauty retelling where we have the Malice point of view of the Sleeping Beauty thing. So she didn't actually curse the Sleeping Beauty, but she does have like a bad reputation, while the other people similar with her who have some magic can do enhancements, for example, make potions to make somebody look prettier or better singer or something like that. Her are reverse, so she can make them uglier, and that's why she looks also different and people don't like her very much and they treat her really, really badly. So this is kind of her villainous story where she doesn't want to be villain per se, but people treating her, she just is tired of that. She wants to actually get away, and we go on from that. She does become the friends with the Sleeping Beauty, who has a curse put on herself, well, her line, where she has to find her true love, and through the true love's kiss she will live. However, if she doesn't manage that by her age 21, she will die. Her sisters have already died. So it should be really interesting, but honestly, I don't care about it at all. And I am about 60% into the book, and for some reason, every time I listen it, I fall asleep. So I have to go back again to re-listen it. So it's not going very well, as I said. Today I won't be reading much, although I will try to get through Malice by today. I also have To Kill a Mockingbird to read. But then I'm going to visit my family and we're gonna barbecue, and tomorrow I'm going to a funeral. So we'll see how everything goes. So I finished Malice yesterday, and I do appreciate the story. I know it's a good book and there's a lot of it that I should like. However, I didn't enjoy it at all. It was, I had to make myself take the time and finish the book. And I think it might be because of my mental status, my health problems and everything else. But also maybe that just audiobooking it was a wrong choice. But I did enjoy the ending, and I would like to see where the second book goes. So it's a duology, so I know that it will end with the second book, and we'll see. So I have a little bit free time, so I think I'm gonna put another book on my reading list. It's called Shadowed Lies. I can't remember the author. I'll put a picture here or something, as usually, and it's a second book. It's 200 pages, and I added this to my DVR because of it fits Orillium quests with the purple cover. And it's 200 books, so 200 pages book, so I think I can breeze through that. I read the first one in 2019 or before even, and this is about dragon shifters, so I just thought about the Reddit SFF reading challenge, the yearly one, and that could go out, would suit for the not wolf shifters thingy. So maybe I can put it there. I have to do a TBR video for that also. But so we have dragon shifters, and they live quite like separately from most of the other people on top of the mountains. And the main character, the male, finds a woman who is a healer, who is also into magic, a witch. I don't think there's a lot of like female dragons left in the world, and they mate. However, she kind of a little bit fucks it up. And now in the second book we have it started with one of the dragon shifters killing his mate, and we saw that there was somebody affecting him, turning that love into a hate. And now we are going more into that storyline, but also dealing with the consequences of the mating gun stray, because basically I think she faked something and he doesn't know, so let's see where that goes. And I also have a third book that would fit very well for the next month's last book support collab or something like that, so maybe we can finish a couple of series. But yeah, I'm quite enjoying it. I am 10% in last night, and hopefully I can finish it today. Then I also want to finish the To Kill a Mockingbird. I'm trying out my TBR game, and I got finished last year's 1 month's TBR, so I had two choices: to finish the Grimm's fairy tales, that is not happening, or To Kill a Mockingbird, that was on my TBR 1 month. And I did start it a couple of days ago. I borrowed it from a library, and that also feels, I think, another Orillium quest. I'm doing all the free-for-all quests, but I'm just trying to get through that. I'm completely confused. I think I should go and read what is it even about, because I can't remember, and I got confused. But it looks like it's a summer story from somebody's childhood, as far as I got into that. So that's about it. So today is Monday, the April 25th, and I have been reading something. So I did finish the Shadowed Lies, the Dragon Shifter book, and I think it's a very mediocre book. It's not a bad book, but I've also read better fantasy romance or Dragon Shifter books and so on. But also it didn't have the qualities that the really bad ones have, and with 2019 and previous from a DVR from those years, you can get the really bad ones. Also, it had a decent plot. The characters were okay. I may not like them, but you could see some development and things, not a lot. So, as I said, very mediocre book. Then I needed to get through To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee, and I listened to it most of the weekend, and I feel like my year started with really well, a lot of 4 and 5 stars, and me enjoying all the books, and lately things are not going as well. But I kind of already knew that, because if we're going by classics, I love the Depression Fest of World War I-II European literature, and for some reason I haven't vibed with most of the American literature. I have been reading some of the classics, can't remember most of those names in English, but they don't captivate me as much as the European ones. So I usually know that if I'm reading a European classic, there is a much higher chance of me enjoying it. So To Kill a Mockingbird, I'm probably butchering the synopsis also. Basically, it's about 2 children, boy and girl, in the southern state, and basically it's a look through to their childhood. They live with their father, and he is a lawyer. So first part of the story concentrates on the children and their friend, and a person who lives inside the house and never leaves it, and there's a scandal connected with that. And then The second part concentrates on court trial that happened, and honestly the court trial part was the most interesting for me, at least. So it was an okay synopsis into the life in the southern state during that time, but also I didn't enjoy it as much as, for example, Arc the Triumph, 1984 are two of my favorite ones. Also Russian literature, The Idiot, War and Peace, and so on. But the Russian literature I read, I think, during my high school years, so I do want to reread those at some point. And after that, I picked up again The Wheel of Times. I read about 300 pages and then I put it on hold because it's just so slow. It's not slow per se, but there's too much like extra descriptions that aren't maybe necessary in here, but it's definitely a lot less than Lord of the Rings, and you can see, as I've said before, you can draw parallels on where he got his inspiration from. It also does help that I have seen the movie, so I'm getting on a little bit faster. So I'll try to read. I have 400 pages still left. I'm basically straight smack in the middle, and hopefully I can finish it in a couple of days. But I do also have a couple of extra events this week during night, evening. And then at one night I do have a work event. I'm still not sure if the party is happening or what we're doing, but I should be contactable and probably in my workplace, and then I have to deal with those people also next day maybe. I'm not sure about the plans because I've been keeping down low, but I think I can finish this week. Also, I think if I manage to read 200 pages, then going through the last 200 pages in one go should be doable. Comparing this to the TV show, I like Rand's character more. There's a lot more dream sequences and seeing the Dark One and making the connections. However, I also like, I think the events are more condensed and interesting in the TV show, so these are very, very slow. So I do like some parts of book more, some parts of TV show more, but I do want to, after I'm finishing this one, I think this should cover most of the first season of the TV show, so I do want to re-watch it and compare it to the book. As I said before, I do love some things from the book more and some things from the TV show more. I think characters are more likable in that one. For example, Nynaeve, I think I like more in the TV show than in the books, but then again, we haven't gotten a lot of her from the books also. I think we just, up to this point, for about here, we have only gotten Rand's point of view, and now we are getting more people's point of views because their road is separating, so we do get those stories also, so it will be more interesting. And then I don't usually read many books together, but I'm doing at the moment, so I'm breaking my own rules. This is my new Kindle cover because the other one was breaking. I am reading The Dowry of Blood, and honestly, I am absolutely loving it. I was hooked from the first line going, and I'm really, really enjoying it, although I'm just 10% in. So I think I'll manage to read Wheel of Times this week with no problems. I have 400 pages left, so if I can read for 2 nights 100 pages, then I think for one night reading the last of the 200 pages wouldn't be a problem. I usually do read last 200 pages together, and usually just reading this per 100 pages. And then also The Dowry of Blood, I'm pretty sure it's gonna go really, really fast. I am in between reading that because I'm really, really enjoying it. I want to inhale it, but also it's so good, so well written. I do want to really enjoy it, so I want to take it also slow. So we'll see how that goes. And then I have left to read Little Thieves. for the buzzword-a-thon. And hopefully I can manage to at least start that. We'll see. I do have some events this week, so we'll see how that goes, but hopefully I can do it. But I think that's about it, and I'll come back at some point. So I'm back here to finish the vlog, and I'm sorry about my hair, I haven't done anything yet with that. But first I did finish Wheel of Times, The Eye of the World, the first book, and I thought it was really decent. I thought the pace was a little bit inconsistent. At times it was really nice pace, action-packed, and then it got so slow, and the descriptions were so true that it tiny bit bothered me, and it was hard to crunch through. I did like some of the characters, I didn't enjoy some of the characters. The main book is about Rand's point of view. We have a couple of chapters sprinkled in from Perrin point of view and Nynaeve, I think, mostly. And I really enjoyed the part of the journey where Rand and Matt were alone. And the ending was also quite interesting and a little bit different than in the TV show. So in general, I really enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars. Not quite the 5 stars, because I'm still thinking about like Kenya's trilogy, how much I enjoyed it. And it was just so much higher than this one. But I do appreciate how much it did build the world and the magic and everything else here. I also actually audiobooked on the last day of April, and every morning the way home gets longer and longer by Frederick Buckman, I think it's called. And probably shouldn't have listened it on the day of my grandmother's cemetery funeral, but I was listening half of the book while driving to home to my family, and I did get choked up and teared up, and it was a really beautiful story about a grandfather, his last days where his memory is not the strongest, and his relationship mostly with his grandson Noah, and a little bit also with his son. And I honestly really enjoyed this novella. I think it was quite good. And here I'm gonna take a little conclusion to the Orillium Spring Equinox exams. So I'll just go over what I read for WOT. So I did do the Calling Feywild Cartographer. So for Alchemy, it was a romance prompt, and I read Play by Kylie Scott. For Animal Studies, it's a quick read. I read Monstrous Volume 3. For Astronomy, it was top of my TBR, and I read Monstrous Volume 1. For Demonology, it was Shadow in the title, and I read Shadows by Jennifer L. Arntrout. For Elemental Studies, I read Under 100 Pages, and that was the yellow wallpaper. For Inscription, it was Intimidating book, and for that I read The Eye of the World. And for Shapeshifting, it had Creature with Claws on cover, and for that I read Monstrous Volume 2. So for the Calling, I did manage to get in Monstrous Volumes 1, 2, 3, and for the Quests, I think I managed to get in all the other Monstrous books also. So I'm just going through all of the quests that were for free for all and what I managed to read for what. So for Scroll of Standstill, it was a read a 5-star prediction, and for that I put Monstrous Volume 6. Fire Weasel in Danger, for that it was a book new to me author, and that was linked by Kylie Scott. Bring Dragonloom Bloom, it was letter D in the title, and for that I read Hearts in Darkness by Laura Kay. Amelorite Sample was purple cover, and for that I read Shadow Lies by Clara Hartley. Then we had Missing Spellbook, and that was borrowed from library, and for that I read To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee. Party was More Than One Point of View, and for that I read Black Lies by Alessandra Torre. Familiars was Read a Book You Think Will Make You Cry, and that was recommended by G and everybody else in her reading sprints, and that was And Every Morning the Way Home Gets Longer and Longer by Frederick Botman. And then I had Problem Solver Required and Read a Book with Assassins, and I read Monstrous Volume 5. And because they have Necromancer Assassin kitties in there, and I did confirm that the author said that the kitties are assassins also. And then I read Grove Keepers Needed and Read a Green Book, and for that I did manage to put down the last of the Monstrous Volumes 4 that I haven't read. So for the free-for-all quests, I didn't manage to do 1, 2, 3, 4 of them. I just didn't have time, and a couple of books that I read in April didn't manage to fit any of these prompts. So one was Help with Exam, steal a book from other person's TBR, and I didn't find anybody who read the same things that I did, and I did want that confirmation. Combat Training Friend Needed, read a book. Help Needed, read a translated book, although for that another Frederick Brockman would have managed, but I just didn't have time. And then Moth Wranglers Required, Moth or Butterfly on a cover. And from all the books I read this month, what I didn't manage to put in any of the Orilliums was Lead and Deep from the same series that had books Lick and Play, and that was from Kylie Scott, I think, if I remember correctly. And also Malice by Heather Walters. And I would have counted that in because I think I listened it like 10% before April, but it didn't fit any of the prompts. But I think in general I did quite well with Orillium and also with April. But now I do have to start hustling for May because I have 3 chunker books. I have The Burning God by R.F. Kuang, I have The Great Hunt by Robert Jordan, and I have The Vampire Lestat, Prince Lestat, and The Realms of Atlantis. And if I read each of the books about 100 pages a day, it would take me over half of the month to read those 3 books. So we'll see how that goes. But I think that's about it for this April vlog, and I'll see you at the beginning of May.